Okay, welcome back. Again, our guest, Terrebonne Parish President Michel Claudet, and Michel has, as always, willing to take some phone calls.
Sure.
And what we'll do is we'll go ahead and take some phone calls right now and see if you have some questions or comments for the parish president. Thank you so much for calling, and welcome to Bayou Time.
Well, good afternoon, Jimmy.
Hey, how are you?
Oh, good, man. You really made my day today.
Okay, well, good.
Yeah, 'cause just seeing you back on the set, see you doing good, man. Glad to see you back.
Well, thank you very much. Really appreciate that.
Yeah, Michel, too. I want to tell Michel he's doing a good job. I know the bodies look real good, like you said, clean, but only they can stay like that is if people can respect your work and keep it clean and don't throw trash back out there. People need to start respecting your work and stop throwing trash out. It looks so good when the place is clean, and they will have better drainage and everything else, and they will keep it like that. And I don't understand people. They always complaining to y'all, oh, you got to clean this, you got to clean that. Y'all out there cleaning it. They're right back out there throwing the trash again. But I don't understand people. You can't, not everybody, don't get me wrong,
Right.
Not everybody. But they got a lot of them out there doing it, and you can't understand. I want to ask Mr. Michel a question. Maybe he could answer this, maybe he can't. I was watching the president tonight, and they're talking about cutting this, cutting that, and everything because they need the money. What I ain't understanding, why they don't talk about cutting all this money they're throwing overseas over there. That's what they need to cut, man. They're throwing billions of dollars over there, and they don't talk about cutting that.
Okay.
And I don't know if you could answer that, Mr. Michel.
Well, I tell you what, thanks for calling, and what I'll do is clear the line, and if you don't mind.
Okay, Mr. Jimmy.
Thank you
Glad
so
to see you
much.
back, man.
And
Take care.
it's good to hear your voice, and thank you very much. I know it's obviously you got other concerns, although
Well,
that's certainly a concern. But talk about the litter too.
Well, first off, I want to just thank him for those comments. People complain because things aren't clean, but yet we have all these people who are throwing stuff out of vehicles. I agree completely with the caller. You know, if we're going to get mad at anybody, they should be mad at the people who are throwing stuff out of the cars and littering and making our place less clean. And I agree 1,000%, and thank you for that sentiment.
Okay.
As far as
You want to get into the federal government?
well, I'd like to just say this. That's an issue that maybe others should handle. In my particular instance, I'm happy if I can just run Terrebonne Parish, and I'm thankful for that. Now, I will say this. There are a lot of issues, and I've heard those same sentiments from so many people, and obviously that's something the federal senators and legislators and congressmen and the President of the United States need to grapple with.
Okay.
But I've heard those comments many times.
No question about it. Thanks for that, and thanks for the caller. We really appreciate it. Okay, welcome to the program, and welcome to Bayou Time, and thank you very much for calling.
And thank you for being back on that, Jimmy.
Hey, how you doing? Good to hear from you.
You're looking pretty sharp for a 55-year-old man.
There you go. Well, you're close. How about 56? Going to be 57.
56?
There you go. All right.
All right, you got me then.
There you go.
You still age, same age.
Thank you.
Anyway, I want to tell Mr. Claudet he's doing a very fine job. And
Thank
I got
you.
a question to ask him.
Sure.
A very fine job. Are them levees going to stay there? First question. You can answer me after.
Okay.
Second,
Okay.
I belong to the North Lafourche levy. Are y'all going to try to pass a tax this November to help y'all with y'all levies on Terrebonne Parish?
Okay.
And because there will be a main election.
Okay.
All right. Let
And
me.
the reason I'm asking you that, because your administration is doing a lot with nothing. And y'all getting a lot accomplished. Your whole administration. If you had that half meal tax or that 1 meal tax, y'all could roll through Homer and finish it. And you're doing a very good job.
Well, I tell you what we're going to do. Thank you so much for calling. We appreciate that. It's good to hear from you. But I'm going to clear the line so we can get more callers in, and we're going to ask him those two questions. When you say the levy, I'm sure you're talking about the levies that were built as a
We
result
are taxed. In North Lafourche, we tax still.
No, I understand, but you asked about the levees staying. You're talking about the levees that were just built for the Morganza flood?
Right.
Okay. Thank you
It
so
doesn't
much.
make no sense to tear them down, Jimmy.
Look, I hear
You know about that, bro.
I hear you loud and clear.
We don't need the Corps of Engineers.
Okay.
Just thinking we had all that money to study with.
All right, I tell you what we'll do. Let's listen to the.
Good job, good job.
Thank you
Thank
so
you.
much.
Well, I will say this, without the Corps, we did 18.6 miles of levees in a couple of weeks, and that was 10.6 miles of new levees and about, 8 miles of enhanced levees. And thanks, the levee district did 1 mile for us of the new levees. We really appreciate that. To answer your question, I've spoken to the colonel a couple of times. We had a meeting this week in New Orleans. It appears that we certainly will be able to hold on to them right now, that we'll be able to use them at least through storm season. That's a good thing. The second thing is we're submitting information to try to keep them up there. It is our desire to keep those levees up because those levees are two things. One, ultimately the Morganza levees will come in that area, and that's on the interface between the wetlands and the highlands. And then the second thing is that the the backwater flooding plan, that would also help us for the backwater flooding. So there's two reasons we need to keep them up. We're talking with the people in the permitting and the mitigation area, and we're certainly doing whatever we can to try to keep them up and work with residents up and down Bayou Black and along, the whole area to try to see if we can make provisions to make it better for them, and particularly for drainage and passageways to get back and forth from their property. We feel we can work with all the landowners in order to do that, and I think it would make a big difference to all of those individuals.
And I think he had one other question about
About the
taxes.
taxing?
Yeah, and I know you got so much going on
Well,
right now, that's probably not.
Let me explain to you first. The levee district, which is not the parish, it's a separate entity. In fact, I think, Mr. Dagate, you're the attorney for the
Sure,
levee district.
right.
They have a quarter-cent sales tax that they have that's assisting. They certainly need more in order to do the Morganza levees. We're doing the interior levees, and it appears right now we have enough funding to raise all of Ward 7 up to 10 feet, do what's necessary in the Montague-Ponishin area, and to run our levees all the way up 8 feet from down by the post office in Dulac all the way up to Thompson Road Extension, and certainly also 8 feet along the eastern port of Dularge from Falgout Canal up to the Mormine Canal.
Very good.
And
That's a big effort in terms of,
it's
and a big
big.
improvement in terms of flood protection.
The only thing that can kill us right now, Jimmy, because we think we have all the funding, is they changed the mitigation computation with the Corps. They went from, if we cover a wetland, we have to evidently flood a highland by paying in a mitigation bank. And the way they're computing it, it's substantially more and could add many millions of dollars to our levee projects. And I don't understand why they want to make it more burdensome for us than what it already is.
Good point. Okay, let's go to another caller. I want to thank you very much for calling, and welcome to Bayou Time. Hello.
Hello,
Yes, thank you so much for calling.
Jimmy.
Yes.
I just want to ask you to give Michel a phone number for him to call. It's about one of his employees.
Okay. Well, you can.
It's nothing serious.
Well, why don't you do this? The parish president, can you call him tomorrow at his office?
Yeah, I can do that.
Yeah, why don't you do that? Why don't you give is it?
That'll be fine. I'll be around all day tomorrow. In fact, I was around all day today.
One of his employees.
Okay. Well, why don't you talk to him
Okay,
if you don't have a problem with that?
no problem.
Okay, very good.
All right, bye-bye.
I just know how it is when you deal with employee issues, you certainly don't want to, you have to respect people's privacy, no question about it. Okay, let's go back to the phone lines. Thank you for calling, and welcome to Bayou Time.
Hello, Jimmy.
Yes.
I have a question for Mr. Claudet.
Sure.
My parents' house on 6500 Shrimpers Row, we had got it raised before Katrina, and they had the permit office got us to raise it at 8 foot. My brother right next door right now started raising his house, got his house started raising it up, and in the middle of it, they told him that he's got to go 10 foot when they were telling him he had to go 14 foot. And they changed everything right in the middle of it. What's going on with this? Do we have to go up 10 foot, or we got to go up 14 foot in the 6500 block of Schroepers Road?
Okay, thanks for the call. I'll go ahead and clear the line, but thank you for
Okay.
calling and appreciate the question very much.
First off, let me explain. Just recently, we've had probably between what's called severe repetitive loss claims and also our HMG items, we probably have 150 people from Terrebonne that are going up in the air. The amount of the height depends upon the base flood elevations. Now remember, right after Katrina Rita, they had what was called ABFEs, and now we have they have potential defirm maps. So that's been where they're trying to make certain that anyone elevated will be at least up to a certain level. Now just remember, something that's not being done by us and may not be the parish is Road Home has their own programs. And Road Home does this different from what the parish has done. We generally have wanted people to go at least 1 foot higher than the base flood elevations indicate, or the defirms, because we feel that would be a safe margin and make certain you're at the right level. Road Home does a completely different thing, and it depends on if it's parish or Road Home, because Road Home is done through the state. And actually, I'll just tell you this too, Jimmy, we've offered Road Home people to office space in the parish government so they could be adjacent to our elevation people. So when people come in, they don't have to be confused as to whether or not it's parish or state, and that could be a difference also. So two things could be a difference. One, they had changes in flood elevations, and then the second thing is the state runs a little bit different program than what we do.
Okay, very good. And as I understand it, what's the critical factor is not necessarily how high the structure is off the ground, but it's how high the structure is off of the base elevation or sea level.
Correct. It's off of the sea level.
And you may have, as we know, land may not be even, in different places. We may have some dips here and there.
That's true, and certainly it's when it's above sea level, and there might be different areas. But
Right.
One thing, if you do have some questions, our department has Jennifer Jabassi and Brandy Terrio. If you have a question, just call the parish, ask for Jennifer Jabassi or Brandy Terrio. They will be more than pleased to explain that intricacy to you.
Okay, very good. Appreciate the caller. Thank you very much for the caller, and certainly you can call parish government and get more information. Thanks for calling, and welcome to Bayou Time.
Hello?
Hey, thank you for calling.
Can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you. It's better if you listen directly from your phone and not your TV.
Okay. First of all, I want to say that Mr. Claudet is doing a great job.
Okay.
Thanks.
But I was wondering, my question is why can't we get Greyhound bus coming back through here?
I have asked the same question a number of times. What happened after they closed the terminal that's now a pharmacy, I think it's Total Pharmacy, right at the corner of Lafayette and Park, they started using that shopping bag right there, and that's where people were being picked up. Unfortunately, it did not appear that they had enough users to continue the service. It disappoints me greatly that we don't have it, but Greyhound is a separate company, and I can't control what they do.
Okay.
Thank you so
Sure.
much.
Thank you for the call. We really appreciate it. Let's see. This one I think is next. Thank you for calling. Welcome to Bayou Time. You have
Hear
a
me
question?
all right?
Okay. How you doing?
Doing fine.
Good.
One of your previous callers mentioned about the high elevation, Shrimpers Road. There's 3 foot difference between what the federal government wants or the state government wants and what the parish government wants. We talked about that today at work. One of the fellows' father put his house up 13 feet, and FEMA wants him to go up to 16 feet. He's already got everything all tied down and set, and the porch is built, and the stairs built and everything, and now he's got to change and go up 3 foot higher. So it's it's kind of some confusion there. I'm elevating my home right now, so I'm going to have to double check on the height.
Okay. Well, I tell you what. That's a good comment, and maybe we'll ask the parish president to.
I have one question too before I hang up.
Yeah. Go ahead.
Okay. On the contraflow, we're talking about the hurricane evacuation. During Gustav, when we evacuated the contraflow, there was miles and miles of the southbound lanes coming south with no cars at all in the southbound lanes. And then it'd open up for a little while again, and things would fly up the road. But then it'd bottleneck again the minute they shut down those southbound lanes again. I would have paid $20 to $50 to $100 to get over on that southbound lane and go north. Okay. I mean, people will be willing to pay money if they need to hire more officers to block off the.
And what highway is that?
That's 55 going north.
Okay, I got you.
I mean, miles and miles and miles, and no cars coming south at all. I mean, the road was shut down, but there was no cars on it.
All right, we'll ask the parish president to comment.
Okay, well, first off, again, on that elevation thing, remember there's road home and there has been different BFEs. On the question about the elevations, Jennifer Jabassi or Brandy Terrio should be able to answer that question for you and concerning elevations.
And wouldn't it be, let me just go ahead, if somebody is actually elevating or constructing, obviously they need to get a permit, there's no question about it, but you really need to check with, I would assume those would be the people to check with to find out exactly to what elevation they need to build.
It's critical for their funding.
Right.
The funding determines how it is in relationship to the base flood elevations.
Okay.
And I'm sorry if there was been any confusion, but of course, every time we can get somebody up in the air, we want to do that. And I hope that it's to your satisfaction. Now, for contraflow, that's handled completely by the state police. In fact, our own Ralph Mitchell was in charge of that at one time.
Sure.
Ages. Now, they found out each time they've done it, they've been able to tweak it better and better and better. Now, I think what you're talking about is the extension on 55 of the contraflow, and I believe they're looking to that. I saw the maps on the new contraflow, and I believe it extends further than it did the last time. I can't say with 100% certainty, but the state police will be able to tell you, and if you're interested, and I know we'll be able to come out, but if you're interested immediately, it should be on the state police website, and in addition, you could probably call state police headquarters.
Okay, very good, and it gives us a thought. Maybe we can get somebody from state police, maybe now that hurricane season is getting ready to heat up, so to speak.
Jimmy, I mean, I didn't look at that because that's a state police function, but we can come in and give a complete hurricane thing with all the stuff that needs to be done, including all the contraflows, and we can bring people that would be able to give that information. And thank you for asking, and that's one thing that we will look into with the state police in addition. Thank you.
Thank you. Very good. Let's go back to the phone lines. Thank you for calling, and welcome to Bayou Time. Hello.
Hello?
Yes, thank you for calling.
Yes, I had a question. My dad lives on Cornishan, and because he didn't flood into the house, the water came up to the floor but didn't flood into the house, he's not eligible for any funds to raise his house. And I was just wondering if there's any programs in effect right now to help.
Yes, ma'am.
That we can raise the house. He is 93 years old with Alzheimer, and we don't want to have the house flooded the next storm and have to deal with his condition and a flooded house.
Okay, thank you. We're going to ask the parish president to go ahead and address that. Thank you for the call.
Right now, you should be able to call that same number and speak to Jennifer Jabassi or Brandy. Explain to them I believe, have just received some, not just received, but have a CDBG program that will allow for certain elevations for people just in that particular situation. So please call, that's through the planning department, but it would be Jennifer Jabassi, Brandy Terrio, and talk to them about the CDBG program. See whether or not your father might be eligible. And I certainly hope and pray he is.
All right, very good. I tell you what we're going to do. I think we're going to need to take one more break. We'll take a break, and then we'll come back and we'll try to, kind of start winding things down and wrapping things up. So don't go away. We're going to continue with Terrebonne Parish President Michel Claudet.